Projekt Guru, Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks radio station. This is Zak Novak, your American in downtown Donetsk. The program is called Projekt Guru, and Guru is in the house as always. My engineer, Andre, as well. Let's get right to it. At least 11 homes destroyed in 3 towns across DPR. War crimes, once again, civilian areas attacked by the Ukraine Junta regime. Backed by the Nazi Obama administration and terrorist organization NATO, coup leader Poroshenko and his fascist military forces launched a barrage of rocket fire at civilian areas over the weekend. At least 11 homes, a school, and railway station were destroyed due to the heavy bombardment. Cities and towns of Donetsk, WWII, Gorlovka were targeted by the Nazi Ukrainian forces. School 84, a railway station building, and 8 homes were destroyed in Gorlovka. City Mayor of Gorlovka, Ivan Prihotko, reported. Also, the head of the Petrovsky district, Maxim Shukovsky, reported that several homes were destroyed last night as well. Populated homes on Beslesnaya Street 44 and Bokina Street 19 were severely damaged as a result of the heavy bombing. And at 9:05 last night, another home at Shortsa Street 24 in Dokuchaevsk was heavily damaged as a result of an explosion due to the bombing. War crimes. Genocide as U.S.-backed coalition kills children. Saudi warplanes strike school, killing 19. Saudi warplanes are adding to the ever-growing number of incidents of attacks on civilians, fueling international disquiet this weekend, attacking a village in the northern Saada province and killing 19 civilians, most of them children. The majority of the casualties in the village came in the attack on a school, which killed 10 children. Hey, Guru, listen to this. 10 children and wounded 21 others, according to Doctors Without Borders. The other attacks hit houses in the surrounding area, including the home of the school's principal, a strike which killed his wife and 4 other children. Saudi officials confirmed the attack, but insisted that the school was secretly an Iranian-backed training camp for child soldiers. Of course, excuses by the Saudi-U.S. coalition. They insisted there are no schools of any type anywhere in the district, and that the Doctors Without Borders confirmation that they killed mostly small children confirms the Houthis' practice of recruiting and subjugating children to terror. While the Saudi claims about the school are preposterous and readily disproven, the Saudi comments defending their attack amount to an admission that they deliberately targeted a site full of children, which they themselves believe to be full of children. This would doubtless get added to the annual UN report of war crimes against children from 2016, assuming the Saudis don't manage to weasel their way out like they did this year. Heavy bloodshed as more bloody fighting rips across Aleppo, Syria. Over 180 civilians killed. Heavy fighting was reported across northern Syria's Aleppo this weekend as the Nusra Front attempted to double down on last week's gains, attacking a pair of government districts in the western half of the city. The main fighting on Sunday centered around the cement factory in the city's southwest. The Nusra offensive began with car bombings attempting to soften up the defensive positions around the key Jamiat al-Zahaha district, which includes an army base as well as substantial residential district. There was no confirmation of the casualty figures for fighters on either side. As usual, however, it's the civilian bystanders taking the brunt of the casualties. Over the course of the weekend, over 180 civilians have been killed, overwhelmingly within Aleppo, where Nusra shelled government districts and the military airstrikes pounded Nusra-held districts. In addition to those killed in Aleppo, another 20 civilians were reported killed in Idlib province as the military pounded Nusra-held areas there as part of their campaign to try to prevent Nusra from getting more reinforcements to Aleppo. Some good news: Syrian Army liquidating U.S.-backed terrorist ISIS across the nation. Viva Assad. In Sfaida, an army unit destroyed a number of oil tanks for ISIS terrorist organization in the area of al-Rashida Wells, about 38 kilometers east of Sfaida province, killing and injuring a number of its members. In Homs, army units thwarted an infiltration attempt of ISIS terrorists towards military posts to the east of al-Sawame area in Palmyra countryside in Homs province, clashes erupted between the infiltrating terrorists and the army units, during which more than 60 terrorists were either killed or injured, according to the military source. The so-called emir of Central Area, the terrorist who was nicknamed Abu Turab, was identified among the dead. An army unit killed ISIS terrorists who infiltrated from the villages of Rahum and Unuk al-Hawa in Jeb al-Jarrah town and Maksar al-Hussan village in eastern countryside of Homs. Also, a number of positions and gatherings of ISIS terrorists were hit in strikes by the army's artillery and air force in the surroundings of Deir ez-Zor. Many terrorists were killed or injured in the strikes. Viva Assad. Russia demands Poland to find and punish those who desecrated our Soviet heroes, the Red Army World War II memorials. Russia demands Poland find and punish those responsible for desecration of the burials of Soviet soldiers in the cities of Makov and Kielce, the Russian Foreign Ministry said on Sunday. Moscow is resentful at the ongoing, unbridled campaign aimed against Soviet World War II memorials in Poland, the ministry said. In late July, early August, the cemetery of Red Army soldiers in the city of Kielce was desecrated 2 times. Memorial stones were brought down, 2 of them were broken. In early August, an insulting sign was painted across the central statuary at the Soviet military cemetery in the city of Makov. Vandals built fire in the flower bed. Despite its liabilities committed to paper in Article 3 of the agreement between Russia and Polish governments on cemeteries and memorials to victims of wars and repressions of February 22, 1994, the Polish authorities failed to inform the Russian side about the above-mentioned acts of barbarianism. We have to draw attention of the Polish side to the fact that its repeated pledges about state-level protection of Red Army soldiers and officers in Poland turned out not to stand up to criticism, the Russian Foreign Ministry stressed. The atmosphere of anti-Russia hysteria which is whipping up in that country encourages vandals who no longer are afraid of the consequences of their actions against Soviet memorial facilities, including cemeteries. We strongly condemn more acts of insulting the memory of Soviet liberator soldiers which have become a routine practice in Poland. We demand those responsible be found and punished. We stress that each case of desecration or destruction of any of our memorial facilities in Poland will not be left without reaction from the Russian side. More countries to recognize mass extermination of ethnic Poles by Ukrainian Nazis in Volyn as genocide. Poland, which has recognized the mass extermination of ethnic Poles by Ukrainian radical nationalists during World War II as acts of genocide, may be followed by other countries, a senior Russian lawmaker said on Friday. Poland's Sejm, that's the lower parliament house, has followed the Senate and recognized the massacre of Poles in Volyn as genocide. Now it is Poland's official position. It is not ruled out that other countries might eventually join in. Franz Klintsevich, the first deputy chairman of the Defense and Security Committee of Russia's Federation Council Upper Parliament House, told journalists. Strange reaction. He said Ukrainian President Poroshenko, that's the coup leader of Ukraine, Poroshenko's reaction to the resolution of the Polish parliament was at least strange. Poroshenko expressed regret over the Polish parliament's decision, which he said many will want to use for political speculation. The reaction is strange because, as a matter of fact, neither Ukraine nor its people have anything to do with the tragic developments of 43, adding he is sure the recent appearance of Stefan Bandera Avenue in Kiev is not by far historic obsession of Russophobic-minded members of the local legislature. The Kiev Junta honors its criminals as heroes. Another Russian lawmaker expressed regret that Ukraine kept on honoring the leaders of the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, OUN, and the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, UPA, as national heroes, despite the fact that these organizations' activities had been recognized as criminal in Russia and in Poland. The genocide committed from 43 to 1945 resulted in a massacre of more than 100,000 citizens of the Second Polish Republic, mostly peasants. Their exact number is still unknown, and many of them have not been buried with dignity to date. The memories of the victims of the crimes committed by Ukrainian nationalists in the 40s have not been duly cherished until now, and mass murders were not called genocide in accordance with historical truth. Volyn massacre. The Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, OUN, an ultra-right movement that operated in Western Ukraine during World War II, fought against Soviet power alongside with the Third Reich. In 1943, it organized the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, UPA. In February of 1943, the Ukrainian Nationalists launched a campaign to exterminate the Polish population in Volyn. These events culminated in the OUN-UPA forces' attack on some 100 Polish settlements on July 11, 1943. The ultra-nationalists massacred about 100,000 people, mainly women and children and the elderly. The killings' main purpose was to purge all non-Ukrainians from a future Ukrainian side. Hey folks, that ends our program. Thank you so much for the support for Projekt Guru and Novorossia Rocks radio station. As I stress always, be safe out there, stay on alert, and see you all on Wednesday. Bye-bye, folks.